Alrighty, howdy everyone. Welcome back for part 5. Was Joseph Smith a false prophet? I want to spend a few minutes going through some of these shorter ones, 26, 27, 28 in the book, The False Prophecies of Joseph Smith. Just want to read through these, see if there's any new information here, any that maybe some of you didn't know. Like the last video, the ordination of David Whitmer to be the successor to Joseph Smith. I had no idea of that until I left the church and started researching these false prophecies. But anyways, let's look at number 26. Zion would be redeemed and the saints would move there by 9/11/1836. History of the Church, Volume 2, page 145, August 16th, 1834. Dear brethren, I shall now proceed to give you such counsel as the Spirit of the Lord may dictate. Use every effort to gather to those regions and locate themselves, to be in readiness to move into Jackson County in 2 years from the 11th of September next, which is the appointed time for the redemption of Zion. By September 11, 1836, all Mormons should have gathered in Zion. If all other prophecies regarding Zion had come true, which they did not, obviously, they should have flourished, overcome their enemies, rejoiced together, lived in the united order, and built a temple. None of these things ever happened. Look at 27. Okay. Christ was to return by February 14th, 1891. History of the Church, Volume 2, page 182, February 14th, 1835. President Smith then stated that the meeting had been called because God had commanded it, and it was made known to him by visions and by the Holy Spirit. He then gave a relation of some of the circumstances attending us while journeying to Zion, our trials, sufferings, and said God had not designed all this for nothing, but he had it in remembrance yet, and it was the will of God that those who went to Zion with a determination to lay down their lives, if necessary, should be ordained to the ministry, and go forth to prune the vineyard for the last time, or the coming of the Lord which was nigh, even 56 years should wind up the scene, I think is what it's supposed to say. Jesus Christ should have returned by February 14th, 1891. Matthew 24:36 says the exact date of Christ's coming is unknown, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. See also Mark 13:34 and Acts 1-7. And then last one here that I want to do in this video is number 28. Orson Hyde was to go to Jerusalem and do a great work. Prophecies of Joseph Smith and their fulfillment. Nephi Morris, page 261, February 18, 1834, Deseret Book Co. 1926. In due time thou shalt go to Jerusalem, the land of thy father, and be a watchman unto the house of Israel, and by thy hand shall the Most High do a great work, which shall prepare the way and greatly facilitate the gathering of that people. This prophecy was given to Orson Hyde, one of the 12 apostles of Joseph Smith. Although Orson Hyde did go to Jerusalem and dedicate Jerusalem on October 24th, 1841, he did not do a great work or facilitate the gathering of the Jews. This right here I found very funny. When Jews returned to Jerusalem 107 years later in 1948, it is doubtful that any of them ever heard of Orson Hyde. And I thought that was funny. That's probably true. Now, as somebody who was LDS most of my life, I would have probably looked at this section 28 and said, hey, no, this is a true prophecy because Orson Hyde dedicated the land, and then 107 years later the Jews returned. And one day with God is like 1,000 years, so this was just a little tiny, just short little glimpse in the timeline of eternity. So I mean, I guess if you was Mormon you can make an argument for this one, but it's still really far-fetched in my mind now that I'm out of the church. And I agree. It is doubtful that any of them ever heard of Orson Hyde in 1948. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned something new. Maybe maybe some of this is giving you thoughts of something you could go out and research on your own. Anyways, we'll leave you at that. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.